Okay, we're now joined at the podium by Coach Charlie Strong from the University of Texas. Coach, your thoughts on the upcoming season?
Really excited about the upcoming season, just days away. We're going to report on August the 6th, and then get ready to go on August the 7th. You know, the good thing about it, you know, you go through winter conditioning, and then you go through the summer, and most of our guys are there in place, even with our freshmen. And just really excited about this team because one of our goals is just to build a team. And the way you build a team, you just have to get everyone on board. You know, so much was made last season about the suspensions, and I want you to understand this. My goal is never, ever to kick a young man out of the program. I want them to have every opportunity to be successful, but the decisions are made, and sometimes guys feel like that they want to do things their way, and so when that happens, then we have to make a decision on our end. But if you look at this team now, you're always looking for leadership, you're looking for discipline, but we have to have a winning season. Last year, 6 and 7 is not good enough. It would never be good enough at the University of Texas. We know that we lost a lot of players on defense, returned a lot on offense, but we have to improve. We have to improve as a coaching staff. We had to do a better job of coaching, but we also got to get our players to go play and go compete week in and week out. The schedule is very challenging. It's very demanding. You open up in South Bend and you look at two programs so rich in tradition. But we go there, then you come home against Rice, you come home against Cal Berkeley. Then we have Oklahoma State coming in with our first conference game. Then we had to go on the road to TCU. Then we had the Red River Shootout. But the good thing about it, you know, why would you want it any other way? And that's why you're at a place at University of Texas, and that's why the players have to understand it's all about competing, and that's why you're here. You're here to go compete for championships.
Okay, questions for Coach. We got a question on the aisle, and then we'll go back to the right-hand side.
Coach, Ben Kirchhoff from Bleacher Report. When preseason camp starts, what do you want to see out of Tyrone and Gerard?
Well, I always say this, and a lot is made about the quarterback position, and it should be because it's a position that when it plays well, you get a lot of praise, and when it plays bad, you get a lot of criticism. But I was just saying earlier, and I think about this, and not to compare, no way am I trying to compare here, but every quarterback that I've ever been around, there's been really good players around them. You know, and I could just go back to University of Florida, and I think about Tim Tebow. You had Percy Harvin lined up. You had Aaron Hernandez lined up. You had Riley Cooper outside. You had Rainey and Dips behind. You had 2 first-rounders and the 2 Poundsies on the offensive line. So everybody's got to do their part, and it's all about everyone doing their part. And you talk about what you want to see out of Swoops and what you see out of Hurd. You know, both those guys are very competitive, but everyone else around them needs to play well also. We need to find us some playmakers at wide receiver. We need the running backs. You got Jay Gray here. We need him to have a big year, but we need the offensive line to protect the quarterbacks, and then you will have a chance. But it's all about them managing the offense, putting us in position where we can move the football, but not turning the ball over and having dumb plays or dumb mistakes.
We had a question on the aisle, left side, towards the front.
Hey, Charlie. Brian Davis from the Austin American-Statesman. From what you've seen over the summer and what Coach Moore has seen working with the guys, do you believe you have more guys or have found more guys who are just as mad about the end of last season as you were?
Well, Brian, they all want to change it because now that and I was talking to the senior group, and during their whole career, they have never had a double-digit winning season. And so it's more about them. They want to show that, you know, what it's all about and what the university is all about and just how they want to go out and compete. But it is, and it's happening. And I talk to Coach Moore all the time. I always ask him, what's the pulse of the team, how they're doing, how they're acting. And he said, now you're beginning to see more guys step up. But you know what, when you're at a place like here, it should be like that. And we shouldn't even have to have this conversation. It should get where each and every year we're talking about competing.
All the way on the right-hand side, on the rear.
Coach Strong, Carlos Mendez, Fort Worth Star-Telegram. What are you looking for in terms of body language from your guys as you look at them in the spring and summer and get into fall? Are you looking for nonverbal cues that they've gotten over the end of last year?
Well, anytime you talk about body language, you want some guys that are confident and guys that believe in their ability and believe in who they are. And sometimes it doesn't hurt to have a little, a few words that come out of their mouth to make them feel good. But, when you talk about the body language, they understand, and they look at last season and they know themselves. They understand just how important it is and how important football is and what they have to get accomplished and everything they had to overcome. But when you talk about body language, it has a lot to do with confidence and how you carry yourself.
Question on the aisle on the left side.
Coach Strong, Will Bazer of Longhorns Sports Radio and V-Sporto. My question is, last year you dismissed the 9 players during your offseason prior to your first season, and you talked about this earlier. You brought us that new set of rules. How's this culture changed the locker room, and has it had the effect that you want it to have?
Well, it wasn't so much, and let me say this, it wasn't so much a new rules. Coach Brown did an unbelievable job, and anytime there's a coaching change, some guys just feel like that they want to do things their way. So like I said, so much have been made about that, but when you look at what happened, and when as a coaching staff we sat down with it, even with our players, it's not where you got to sit there and say, hey, listen, you're out. You start pointing at guys and tell them they're out of the program. That never ever happened. They were given plenty opportunities to do what was asked of them. And so the culture, it wasn't so much you had to have a change of culture, because when you look at this, you say 9 guys. We have 85 guys on scholarship. So if the other, 76 can do everything we ask of them, then why can't those 9 do it?
We got a question on the rear, right in front of the TV cameras.
Nick Castillo, Dallas Morning News. Coach, you talked about the wide receiver position. You lose John Harris, a guy who really stepped up. Who do you see in that, role as wide receiver to step up like he did last season? And how has Coach Norvell, kind of changed the mentality of the wide receivers?
Well, Nick, you look at DeJay, and he's a senior now, Marcus Johnson. Those guys need to step up and become playmakers. I was just teasing DeJay the other day, and I said, you haven't made a play, I think, since Oklahoma when you returned that punt for a touchdown. And so it's got to be a point where he's got to step up and start at that position, because you're always looking for playmakers, and then that takes a lot of pressure off the quarterback, because if you can throw the ball out there, make a guy make you miss an open field, and you can take it the distance, then you always give yourself confidence and also get an offense confidence. But you look at Peter Warwick, look at Leonard and Lorenzo Joe are some young guys, but we had to develop playmakers in that position. Jay's done an unbelievable job. He's an unbelievable coach, has came in. The players really have taken a liking to him, does everything he asks. They do everything that is asked of them from him. And the thing about Jay is very detailed. He's a very disciplinarian, but he's a guy that's making sure that position improve.
We got a question on the aisle, left side.
Charlie, Ryan Atulo, Austin, American Statesman. Everett Golson said that he would have considered transferring to Texas. Notre Dame blocked that transfer. Should, in your opinion, schools have the power to do that to a graduating senior?
Well, Ryan, anytime you play someone and you just feel like that you're going to go compete against that team next year, and he was a starting quarterback, and, so much of, whatever they have within their program as far as, what's their defensive calls, what's their offensive calls, and they may feel like that's what he knows. But, when a young man get to that point, it's just so hard to say, hey, where you going to go play, because they're always searching, and they want to go to the team where it's lesser talent, where they feel like it's lesser talent, where they can get on the field the fastest.
Question on the aisle, halfway back.
Coach Ben Dotson, RCFB. What's the current status of the Office Tigers?
I'm sorry, the Office Tigers.
Uh-huh.
You want one? I give you one. I got a pet tiger if you want it. No. What happened was someone had brought him by the office, and Santos was sitting in my office. And Santos, he brought him and put him down in front of me. He says, hey, Coach, let me take a picture, because he's king of the tweet. And as all of you know, if you just go on his, you find out anything. So he brought him there, and so he said, hey, Coach is there at the office or something. He had tweeted out, so that's why it ended up like that. But no, those Tigers, they're placed where they need to be right now.
Got a question on the left side, and then we'll come over to the right.
Kirk Bowles from the Austin American. Charlie, how big is the barometer for the entire season, the opening game at Notre Dame?
Well, you like to always say this, when you have an opponent like Notre Dame, and it's right there at the beginning of the season, and through your winter condition and through the off season, it's something that you've been working to. So now there's something that's sitting there where they understand just the whole, just the magnitude of that game. They return a lot of starters. It's going to be an unbelievable game for us, very challenging game. But we need to go out and we need to go play well. And they understand what's really good is Notre Dame. So not a lot has to be said. Now it's about us now just building our team.
Question on the right side, Coach. We have third row.
Coach, it's Anwar Richardson, Orange Bloods. What would Gerard Hurd have to do to impress you in order to take that spot from Tyrone Swoops?
Well, they both are going to get that shot, Anwar, and so it's not so much as what he's got to do. It's still a learning process for him, and Gerard is coming along good, and both of them are there this summer. Hadn't had a chance to really watch him work out because we can't, but he's going to, when he get into fall camp, then we'll see just where he is and just how much more that he needs to learn.
Question on the left side aisle.
Coach Cedric Golden, Austin American Statesman. How tough was it your first year coming in as a defensive coach by trade and having to deal with the high-powered offenses like Baylor? And is there a temptation this year to take more chances offensively?
Well, what happens, Ceds, and it just depends on, it depends on your personnel. And so, when you talk about the Baylors and the TCUs, just defensively, you had to get aligned. You have to get lined up. And so when you talk about chances, if you feel like you can't score on offense, you can't take too many chances because now you got to sit back and just hope you can keep them from scoring. But, just learning those offenses and just making sure that on defense that we just don't – it doesn't become a mismatch game because a lot of time that's what it is. They're looking for mismatches. So see if we can throw the ball to the outside, make a guy miss, get in one-on-one in open field and see if you can get him on the ground. But just defensively, I thought Vance did a really good job of just going in and just game planning. But when you talk about chances, if you can't score, then it's really tough on you.
We got a question in the middle. Tim Pachano.
Charlie. Tim Griffin with the San Antonio Express News. The Southeastern Conference passed a rule back in May where they said they'd bar the signing of athletes who'd been disciplined for serious misconduct at other places. Charlie, I'm curious your thoughts on that, and would you favor the Big 12 doing something like that as well?
And I would favor it because I always look at it like this. If you're a student athlete and you have a chance to go to University of Texas, go to Oklahoma, Texas A&M, Baylor, TCU, wherever you go, and then it's for some reason that you did something that got, that they had to dismiss you from that program, I don't think that you should be given another opportunity to go to another major school and just start all over like your slate is clean. And I just don't think that should happen for you because you look at it, you were at an unbelievable place, and so now you did something yourself to get yourself dismissed out. So why do you think that you can go somewhere else and just start all over? Like it's a clean slate for you, And I'm all into giving guys second chances, but I want to give guys on my team second chances, not someone else from another program.
Got a question on the left side.
Coach Damon Sales, Bleacher Report. Can you talk a little bit about just the freshman play that you have? You've got some freshmen with some definite talent, in particular Malik Jefferson. Can you talk about those guys on the defensive end?
Well, you look at our freshmen, and the good thing about Malik, he was able to come in the spring and did a really good job. I think he came in at like 217. He's up at like 240 now. Connor Williams is another. He came in as an offensive lineman, was a tight end in high school, moved to the offensive line, has done an unbelievable job. And then with the rest of them, they're coming in right now. And it's some freshmen on campus. But the good thing about it is the upperclassmen have done a great job of just walking them in and teaching them everything. Because, you look at those from the Houghton Hills, of those young DBs, from Houghton to Davis, to Chris Boyd, there's a lot of learning for them, but it's all about the learning process. And when you look at the freshmen, they're all excited, week one, and then all of a sudden it all hits them with the classes and they're working out. Then they kind of calm down. And so now they'd be interested in when we get them to August, how they're going to react and how they're going to go out.
Question on the front right side.
Coach Strong, Art DeLugage from the Llano News. A couple of years ago, you had 3 good running backs and 1 left. Last year, 2 with Michael and Jonathan. Now it's Jonathan. Might this make things easier, depending on? I'm sure you've got backups too, but for Jonathan and maybe for the running game, for him to know he's the main guy.
Yeah, what happened last year, you had Jonathan, you had Malcolm. And the thing about Jay Gray, he was coming back from that Achilles, so you just didn't know how healthy he was. I think that we had to get within the season for him really to get back on track. But now with him being the guy, you expect big things from him. And I told him, and I said, now, with you being that guy, and we have backups, but you'd like to see Jay Gray go out and just have a big year.
This is a final question for Coach over on the front left.
Dean Blevins, CBS, Oklahoma City. Charlie, if you get quality quarterback play, is this team the upside? Is it a team that you would see going 9-3, or is this a team that you would see winning the league if you get that good quality quarterback play?
Well, I don't know what the number would be or what would happen, but not only with the quarterback, it's got to come from all positions, because you look at us on defense, we lost 6 key starters there. So we're going to have to play really well on defense, and that's where it all starts at. But with the quarterback position, it is a very critical position, because you want to see that position play so well. And Swoops, and I tell you this right now, he want to play well because of what so much have been said about him, and he want to prove to everyone that he can play that position. I hope he does do that. I'd be more than happy if he did. But it's all about us just performing well as a team and with all phases.
Okay, Coach, thank you very much for your comments and good luck.
All righty, thank you.